I was popping YouTube. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video talking about why journaling is so important and why understanding your metrics is key to reaching profitability. Now, right here, I have my TradeZella pulled up. Now, these numbers are slightly skewed just because this isn't all one account. This is, this is probably like 2 years of data, a year and a half of data across different size funded accounts. Live accounts have been traded through here. So like I've had 150Ks, 300Ks, 50Ks, 100Ks, 10K live account, 5K live account. I've had a whole bunch of different accounts throughout this data. So these numbers right here are skewed. Like just the numbers on the screen, it's not actually, like the average R multiple and average win to loss. That's not actually truly relevant to what I'm going to be talking about. Don't pay attention to these numbers right here. What I really want to be talking about is understanding your metrics and how you can use it to your advantage. Now, and I'm going to be talking specifically about the trade times because that is what I gain the most from just using this data right here. Now, as you can see, I'm also going to separate this to, like 5 minutes entry time. All right, that's good. So let me talking to y'all about my timing when I trade and why, I have made certain changes that have increased my profitability. So as you can see, all my pre-market trades, I trade horribly. Now that's nothing to blame but myself. A lot of the times I probably do not take the best setups. However, with that in mind, with that understood, I take that data and I use it to my advantage. Once I kind of started to look at this and recognize like, okay, I don't trade well pre-market. I don't trade well, 9:30 and below. That is where I started to, I don't trade pre-market anymore. And if I do, I will literally take it with a quarter or a fifth of my usual size. And honestly, recently, I haven't even been touching it. I haven't even been trading the first 5 minutes of market open because as you can see, once that first 15-minute candle closes, my profitability spikes. Following that first 15-minute candle and beyond for when I'm entering past that, my profitability number jumps. You do see a little bit of profitability, 930 to 935. However, just recently, this is years of data. Recently, what has been working for me more is to wait for that first 5 to 10 minutes of market open. And, with that being said, with that in mind, I wouldn't be able to know this without a journal, without adding all of my trades into TradeZella, without having to be 100% honest with myself, 100% transparent. Like, as you can see, I take the best setups after that. Another thing I want to talk about as well is your days that you trade, the best on. As you can see right here, my most profitable day is usually Wednesday. So when you have things like this in mind, you can go and understand like, okay, I trade the best on Wednesdays. I trade, the least profitable on Tuesdays. Take that into account. Or Thursdays, I'm going to now de-risk on those days. I'm going to maybe increase my size a little bit on Wednesday because I know over time, I perform better on these days according to my metrics. And this is years of data now. And this is hundreds of trades that have been, accounted for. These are just the small things that you can use your metrics and how you can use them to learn and understand yourself and your data better. These are the things that you don't get from just writing down your trades. Now I have my personal journal as well to where I write down, well, honestly, y'all are my journal. Me just talking, doing the trade recaps, that has been a more beneficial journaling strategy for me recently because I then go listen back to my thought process. I listen back, I look at the trades in hindsight days after so that I can really see from a completely clean slate and there's nothing tied to those trades, whether they are a win or a loss. I can see from a complete sideline perspective and really outside looking in. Because when I'm journaling in the moment, I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about in the moment. After I get those days and those days later on where I can look back at them, it's definitely been very beneficial for me. And I've been able to see and learn a lot just from myself from watching these videos. So that's been my journal, but I also do have my TradeZella journal as well, to where I also write down my trades, my thought process. But that is very important. But having a software that can actually track your metrics, that goes deeper beneath the surface, is something that I think is very important and very key. You have things that can also tell you, whether you are better long or short trader. I want to say they have that here as well. I can't find it right now. It's somewhere though. Whether you understand that you're a better long or short trader, that can also determine whether or not you might de-risk on a short because you trade less shorts. Your win rate is, say, 20% on taking shorts, but when you're taking longs, it's 80. And, that's just an example, but it's things like that. Understanding your metrics, understanding your numbers, that can be very pivotal and very key to you becoming a way more profitable trader. That could be your breakout right there to profitability. Just understanding your metrics and understanding what specific times you trade the best at, specific setups, specific strategies, whatever the case may be. Even I like to also journal, the news days that I trade, whether or not I trade better on CPI versus FOMC, or, NFP Friday versus non-farm, or I'm saying the same thing. Just, you know what I'm saying though, like tracking the news days as well, just seeing which days you see the most profitability, you perform the best at. All of that stuff is very key. Now, I think part of this also can be beneficial if you have any type of background in sports. You have to watch film, you have to study the other team, study yourself, study whether or not, say for basketball, for example, you see you're guarding somebody, they shoot 20% from the left wing versus, they shoot 55% from top of the key. You want to force that person to the left wing. You want to minimize their amount of touches at the top of the key. It's the same thing. It all correlates. It all translates. Understanding statistics and metrics, because over time, especially the more data you get, the more accurate and the more um, and the better representation you can attain just by understanding it and being consistent with it. So definitely find you a journaling software. There's TradeZella. I have been using it. I'm probably gonna stop soon though. I have been thinking about it, but TradeZella is what I've been using for the past few years. I know TradePath just came out as well. I know that's a pretty good software that's been integrating AI with their stuff. So I might try that out soon. We'll see. Um, but yeah, like tracking your metrics, track your metrics, track your metrics. That is very important. That is very key. And that can be the determining factor to you seeing profitability. If you really study them, become a junkie to your numbers, really become your biggest critic, um, doing your own trade recaps personally, I think it is very helpful. It's very beneficial to be able to see that as well. Track everything, track as much as you can, because those statistics and those numbers, trading is profitability at the end of the day. So you want to do things to increase your profitability as much as possible. And those numbers and those key data points can definitely be, the that extra push that you need to get over that hump wherever you're at in your journey. Like that can definitely help. I would definitely recommend it. Definitely say do it. Um, and yeah, that's all I have for y'all today. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Journal, track your metrics, track your data. So yeah, if y'all like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you for watching. Yeah, I'm gonna catch you on the next one.